Tonight's headlines are brought to you in part by Coldwell Energy and McDonald's.
Good evening, Commonwealth, and thanks for watching the Channel 2 News. I'm Sally Limis. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories. A woman on the run with money stolen from the Pacific Minigames. Also tonight is relief for pandemic-affected businesses on the way. And students return from West Virginia with new ideas on food sustainability. In sports, get ready for liftoff at Gold's Gym in GARAPAN. Stay with us, these stories and more are next.
Sipping on a delicious drink from McDonald's may have you thinking, what makes these drinks just hit different? Don't overthink it. Just enjoy it. It's more than a drink. It's a McDonald's drink.
Cool off this summer with McDonald's Minute Maid Slushies. Try the new Tropical Mango or returning favorite, Strawberry Watermelon, for a limited time.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Half a day to the Wami and good evening, Commonwealth. Today is Wednesday, August 10, 2022. A local female is on the run with over $40,000 of Pacific Minigames money. Police say she forged a check and took a flight to Korea. Police are seeking your assistance regarding the whereabouts of Patricia Bermudez Aldon, who is being charged with forgery and theft. According to DPS, an employee of the Northern Marianas Pacific Minigames Committee noticed a wrongful payout was made to Aldon. The caller states Aldon was a temporary employee of the PMG committee and was originally given a check for $27 for mileage reimbursement. The original check was then changed from $27 to $46,027. The forged check also had 2 signatures of its committee members signed without their knowledge. The Honorable Judge Joseph Camacho then issued an arrest warrant for Aldon on August 2nd. The search for Aldon was unsuccessful. Police later confirmed on the same day Aldon boarded a plane with no written final destination. The case remains ongoing. DPS encourages the public to call 911 if you have any information about this case. If you wish to remain anonymous, you can call the CNMI Crime Stoppers hotline at 670-234-7272. Crime Stoppers pays up to $1,000 for any information leading to an arrest. The island of Tinian remains under a state of emergency as officials await results of a possible contamination of their water table. Tinian Mayor Edwin Aldon says they are currently waiting for soil sample results that will identify whether the water table is contaminated.
As of now, we have a company down there who's making the cleanup. There was some equipment that were brought in, and they have sent samples to off island to the States, I guess, for verification of how much what do you call it, toxic was on how much contamination is underneath the soil.
The island of Tinian was declared under a state of emergency after a toxic fire broke out and burned leftover debris collected from Super Typhoon U2. CNMI's Homeland Security then spearheaded a project that will test the soils to make sure no toxins have seeped through the water tables and also collect the leftover debris for disposal.
They are already starting to remove some of the debris. They are already packing it compressed, and they're trying to sedate to ship it up.
Mayor Aldon states the toxic fire broke out in an isolated area, affecting a tiny portion of residents.
It was in an isolated area. The only concern that we had was the underlying water table and, of course, the smoke that went out. We are trying to figure out a way to help the people that were, they had to relocate from their place and stayed at the hotel for almost like 4 days. We're still in the process to figure out how to take care of them.
Governor Torres has renewed the declaration of state of emergency for another 30 days until the project will be complete. The Torres administration says financial assistance for NMI small businesses could be on the way soon. Over 150 small business owners in the CNMI gathered at the Saipan Road Resort this afternoon for the Friends of Business Summit, hosted by the Governor's Council of Economic Advisors, Small Business Development Center, and the Saipan Chamber of Commerce. Following a survey launched last month, officials gathered data from over 200 different business organizations, ethnic groups, and business communities.
So some of the findings have been really good understanding of what are businesses considering small, short and long-term challenges that they're facing. Both the short-term and the long-term are clearly indicating that the cost of doing business in the CNMI was something that was a concern to them. And that is important to know, I think. But more important than just the results today, it's finding a way to ask these simple questions that can be continued on going forward so that we can have a track about what are the perceptions and successes of the actions and the efforts that are going forward.
The summit was a chance for small business owners to gain beneficial business information and networking opportunities.
The majority of businesses began without necessarily external capital. A lot of it was self-finance. But one of the issues facing individuals getting capital to start their businesses was just the lack of knowledge of the financial options that are available. And so I think today is a good opportunity with different organizations that provide financing, different discussions about how to obtain financing, that maybe this is an area that just continual cooperation, continued knowledge sharing could provide some benefits.
One of the biggest announcements made this afternoon is the launch of Boost CNMI, which will provide financial assistance to CNMI businesses and nonprofit organizations.
The governor has identified a date that we're launching this next week, Thursday, on August 18th. For more information, and I know this is a teaser, but for more information, you can go on the next slide. You can see that you can go to boostcnmi.com. Contact the Department of Commerce is taking the lead and getting inquiries. And there is also a phone number to leave a message. We will gather all this information so that when we do start and launch this, these companies and this information will be relayed to these businesses that they acquire. Because these are ARPA-funded programs, we need to ensure and make sure that funding for these expansions must be completed before the fall of 2024. And of course, all grants are subject to the availability of funds.
For more information on how to start a business or keep a business, you can contact the SBDC at the Northern Marianas College campus or reach out to the Governor's Council of Economic Advisors. As Mount Carmel opens its doors for the first day of the school year, they also name a new president to lead the Knights.
We'd like to announce our new president for Mount Carmel School, starting today, Ms. Frances Tinian.
The Mount Carmel School Board of Directors officially introduced their new president before faculty and staff on Tuesday, right before their first day of the school year. Frances Tinian has been an educator almost half her life. After retiring from the Sinamay public school system, she moved to MCS and continued her passion in education for almost 17 years. As she assumes this new position, Tinian says one of her visions is to incorporate wellness learning opportunities into the school's curriculum.
Changes this school year. We have Monday through Thursday as a full day and Friday is a half day, where we dedicate Fridays as our social, health and wellness day. So we tackle, like social and emotional issues like stress management. Some of our students will be going off campus to receive training on how to cope with stress. As well with our teachers. Last year we've dealt a lot on stress management. And we've been giving trainings on how to work with our students in the classroom.
Some added health activities will include Zumba and hands-on activities.
With the COVID, the pandemic, last year we've seen a lot of students having issues with anxiety, depression. So we wanna look at that and see how we can help our students. That's why the team decided to have that program in place.
Tinian states she will also be addressing internet development and infrastructure.
One of them is to upgrade and build our internet infrastructure, which we've been having issues in the past. So thanks to federal programs, we're able to get those funds to begin upgrading our infrastructure.
Currently, Mount Carmel has 47 staff and over 500 students. One of Tinian's goals is to focus on teacher development.
We're going to continue sending teachers off island to be trained, like what we did this last summer. We sent 5 teachers off island to be trained on project-based learning. And we're going to still continue to work hard to meet our strategic master plan that we developed last year for the next 5 years.
Mount Carmel continues to implement the standards and benchmarks from the National Catholic Education Association, prioritizing academic, student growth, and professional development. The Commonwealth Utilities Corporation announces a scheduled power service interruption for the village of GARAPAN. Residents in GARAPAN should expect 2 separate power service interruptions in the coming days ahead. The first power outage is scheduled for this Friday, August 12, from 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. The second is scheduled for next week, Wednesday, August 17, 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. CUC will be replacing 6 existing 45-feet wooden poles to concrete poles and re-sag existing overhead primary conductors. Water wells are not to be affected. For more information, you may contact the CUC customer hotline at 670-236-4333. All right, coming up, the Sinamay's youth ambassadors take a trip to Virginia, tackling pressing environmental issues. Stay tuned.
My doctor gave me the pills, so they must be safe, right?
If taken exactly as prescribed, short-term use can be safe, but painkillers have real risk. Misusing an opioid painkiller can cause serious harm, including addiction and death, and misuse can happen quite easily. Make sure you never mix them with alcohol, antidepressants, sedatives, or sleep aids. And if you are prescribed an opioid, you need to tell your doctor about any other drugs, including herbal supplements that you are taking. It only takes a little to lose a lot.
This project was supported by a grant from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation. Contents are solely the responsibility of CHCC and do not necessarily represent the official views of the CDC or the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome back to the Channel 2 News. The half-a-day Tidal Cultural Experience officially kicked off last night at the grounds of the Carolinian Affairs Office in GARAPAN. Let's check it out.
Yes, I would like to invite all of you to please come down to the grounds of the Carolinian Affairs Office and support our half-a-day Tidal event in preparation for the inaugural flight from Japan, so that we can show our visitors how much our culture means to us. And this is an opportunity for to give our visitors as well an experience of our culture.
Tonight, we sit down with a group of high school students who traveled to West Virginia, addressing the Commonwealth's pressing environmental issues with other indigenous students across the United States. 7 local high school students were accepted into this year's Native Youth Climate Adaptation Leadership Congress, held in Shepherdstown, Virginia. Joining other Native students across the United States, the NMI's youth ambassadors tackled different environmental change and conservation challenges.
And from there, we got to collaborate and see what can we do to find ways to preserve what we have, because we're all from different tribes, we're all indigenous, and we are people of the land, people of nature. So we wanted to try our best to preserve what we have. 16-year-old Jude Tullamore from Cagman High School states one issue they wanted to address is the food sustainability here in the CNMI. And before in this island, we were very reliant on the land. But now that we have more exports and imports, coming in and leaving, we became more reliant on canned food, on snacks, on all those types of things. So we want to try our best to find ways to sort of grow our own food and maybe teach the youth what was sort of dying, basically. The ambassadors were given prominent opportunities. Janaea Kitano, also from Cagman High School, was able to address a community issue with a top official of the nation.
So I had the opportunity to talk with Ms. Deb Holland, the Secretary of United States Department of Interior, and I asked her if she would look into implementing a management plan for the Marianas Trench Monument, because there hasn't been any since it's been established. And then she said that she would look into it since, you know, she's really helping with the indigenous people, and that she would really want to put in a management plan. And hopefully she comes to our islands to, you know, visit and understand our culture.
Dianele Rodriguez states one of her biggest takeaways was gaining a new perspective of what the island has to offer.
And so coming back home with this new perspective and meeting new people, hearing other ideas, it really helped us like appreciate what we have here. You know, we really realize how beautiful our islands are and how much we can do with our island, because out there is so big, you know, so things are harder to get done compared to the size we have here. So not only did it give us a new perspective, but it helped us be the leaders, like motivate us to be the leaders we really wanted to see in our own islands and make these choices that we discussed out there and bring it back home to help our own people, you know.
Eva Cruz, director of Manhita Marianas, led the delegation along with the Office of Representative Sheila Babauta and advisor Jesselyn Quitano.
Inafamalik Youth is a youth heritage program that's really geared towards empowering our youth and helping them tap into their talents and their interests, and hopefully to be able to influence our community to create opportunities that are related to that.
The students also took a day tour in Washington, D.C., and then traveled to Hawaii for a closer look at the island's systems of sustainability. Be sure to stay with KSPN as we learn more about their trip. All right, folks, don't go anywhere because we have sports up next.
All workers have the right to a safe workplace. Employers must provide a workplace that is free from recognized hazards and comply with applicable OSHA standards, including proper reporting of injuries. Training needs to be done in a language and vocabulary employees can understand, and an OSHA information poster must be displayed prominently in the workplace. Workers, you have the right to raise a safety or health concern with your employer or OSHA without being retaliated against, and request an OSHA consultation of your workplace if you believe there are unsafe or unhealthy conditions. OSHA can help. Free assistance to identify and correct hazards is available to small and medium-sized employers without citation or penalty. So look out, speak up, and stay safe. Job safety and health, it's not only good practice, it's the law. Check out OSHA.gov or call 664-3154 or 3155.
At one of Saipan's beaches, this mother lays about 100 eggs under the cover of darkness. She hides her nest as best she can and then slowly makes her way back to the ocean. The eggs hatch and the babies head for the sea, where they will face a daily dose of danger. Just 1 in 1,000 will make it to adulthood. Those that do will one day lay their own eggs. Sea turtles are protected under sea NMI law. If you see one that is stranded or if you see illegal activity, call the hotline at 287-8537.
Tonight's sports brought to you in part by Tan Holdings through the Tan Su Lin Foundation, making communities a better place to live. Buenas sports fans.
Muscle up, Buttercup. It was a powerlifting weekend at Gold's Gym in GARAPAN. Our Chris Nelson has this next story about strength, grit, and determination.
Some heavy lifting this weekend at Gold's Gym GARAPAN as strong men and women took their turn in the spotlight. It was powerlifting, and it was exciting. The first event for the men was the squat, and these plates add up to a lot of pounds or kilograms, depending on your system. Some can't add in 2 different languages. More plates, though, means more weight. The crowd plays a big role. Each competitor lifts the weight off the rack, steps back, gathers him or herself, and then does the squat. Spotters are there on each side to help just in case something goes wrong. Here's a little behind-the-scenes action. That's what a backstage pass will get you. It's the first time Gold's has hosted powerlifting. Tice Mister helped organize and was also a fan.
Oh my gosh, these guys are strong. Yeah, you know the coolest thing is some of these guys are getting their PRs.
The event is set up so that people of different weight classes can compete against each other. There's a system, kind of like a handicap in golf. If you weigh more, you have to lift more if you want to find yourself in the winner's bracket. There's also some strategy involved.
So they all had 3 attempts for their squat, and then they're just going to take a quick break, and they're going to go into the bench. And they'll have 3 attempts for their bench, and then they'll do deadlift.
And so is it better to complete a lift at a lighter weight than fail at a heavier lift?
So yeah, they want to get on the board, right? So they can't go down weight, so they want to make sure that they pick a weight that they know they can do and then move up from there.
23-year-old Jamila Alegre, also one of the organizers. She's a personal trainer and a competitor too. Multitasker. Her deadlift, 265 pounds, bench press of 115 pounds, and a squat of 215 pounds. That was good for first place with 300 points. Christy Aldon was close behind. She takes second place in this first ever competition. And Lelaine Satoman takes third. In the men's category, it was 23-year-old Eric Moffness. He doesn't always take a rest day, but when he does, it's to give the weights a day off. He did a deadlift of 500 pounds, bench pressed 275 pounds, and squatted 480 pounds. He's your winner with a total score of 385 points. Second place goes to Joey Colasau, who had a squat of 550 pounds, deadlift of 505 pounds. And third place goes to Jeffrey Sau. The 20-year-old weighs just 177 pounds, put up a bench press of 255 lbs. Heaviest attempted lift of the day, that would be 600 pounds, and it was attempted by Lucas Taylor. Now, we do want to warn our viewers, this clip may not be suitable for everybody, especially young children, but only if they don't want to see something awesome. You're going to see the bar actually start to bend at the beginning of this lift. That was 600 pounds. Question, if a powerlifter has weak legs, does his coach put him on the bench? Powerlifting at Gold's Gym. Hey, golfers, come north and practice your game at the Marianas driving range. New Year's local specials. 10-piece coupon books available for just $60. That's a $10 savings. Want to get really good? Come work on your swing every day for just $99 per month. It's our practice pass and you're going to love it. Grab your passes and go straight to the range. You can social distance and chip all at the same time, and the views are free. Reserve now at marianastrekking.com. You can pay online, open 7 days a week.
Hi, I'm Dre, one of the personal trainers here at Goat's Gym, and today we're going to go over the Kettlebell Deadlift. Fantastic exercise to build overall strength, particularly in the legs and hips. Remember, we want to make sure that our setup is in good position. If you set up in a bad position, it's not going to look good and it's certainly not going to feel good. So a common error setup is obviously a rounded upper back. 2 simple ways of correcting that. All I'm going to have Vince do here is extend his arms up here, and all he's going to do is think about reaching long and pushing his hips back. Reach long and push your hips back. So as you can see, he's already in good position. Now all he's going to do is grab that kettlebell. He's got tension in his legs and in his back. All he's going to do is just stand up tall, finish with his glutes.
And for the KSPN weather report, lots of rain today on the island of Saipan and Tinian. Isolated thunderstorm in specific parts of the islands. High 84, low 77. Humidity at 96%. East-southeast wind around 11 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy with scattered showers and a slight chance of thunderstorm. East wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. High 84, low 77. There is a 50% chance of showers. Low tide will be at 1:09 p.m., high tide 8:30 p.m., sunrise 6:01 a.m., and the sunset 6:43 p.m. All right, now that is your midweek edition of the news, sports, and weather here in the Marianas. Thank you so much for watching the Channel 2 News. We hope you have a great night, and we'll see you back here on Friday.